Hey, everybody. It's Mike Copera with podcastcondition.com, bringing you the 125th episode of What You Drinking. Here with Dan. Dan, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Good, man. Appreciate you being able to join tonight. As I know you've been busy with some of your homebrew club stuff.
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
So it's good to have you back. We did our cork and cage last week, so we landed on something that Chris suggested. I think he said you saw the episode, but Chris, he sort of at a last minute suggestion threw on off-centered Hefeweizens, which not easy to find. I think I've got the closest thing possible, but I've got two here because I want to kind of compare these two. They're both from the same brewery. This is the Schneiderweiss.
Okay.
So we've got the Schneiderweiss, and then the other one that I saw was it's a hoppy version of their Hefeweizen. It's a Hoppenweiss.
Ah, nice.
To see how these two compare, I'm going to go with the original first, I think. Just kind of see what the base beer is like.
Okay.
What did you end up grabbing for this evening?
Oh, I didn't. I went. Actually, we've been talking about this beer, and I was like, I'm not going to find a beer like that. So I just went off center completely with Cajun Sunset, or I'm not sure how you spell that, but that's or pronounce that. But that's Central Waters barrel aged stout with bourbon barrel aged stout with vanilla beans, coffee, and cinnamon added. So
nice.
It sounds good.
Yeah, is it like Cassian Sunset? Is that?
Yeah, Cassian, Cajun. I don't know.
Yeah, I picked up a single bottle of that. I didn't know if I should go full on with the $14. Is it a 4-pack or 6-pack?
It's a 4. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so $14 for that. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the one bottle and see how that goes first.
Well, so far it's not disappointing on the smell, so that's good.
Same here. This is smelling really good. Man, I've found that as we go through some of these different styles, a lot of my new glassware, or not new, but a lot of my glassware that's proper for specific styles that we usually do, I don't have any out. They're all in storage.
Oh, so how far away is storage? Is that like a totally different building now, or is that like the basement? Or
yeah, it's in the basement of another building.
Oh man.
Yeah, nice and buried. So this is actually darker than I expected it to be.
That almost looks like a Dunkelweizen sort of dark.
But it's their original German Hefeweizen ale.
All right. Oh, something's buzzing.
Yeah, it's just Kevin.
Oh, okay.
He may be more a little bit late.
Okay. Like even late for him, or
I don't know. Maybe he's taking care of the kids. I think one of them's sick. It sounds like.
Oh man, that sucks.
Before we get into the beer stuff, of course, May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
It's a very big nerd day for any Star Wars fans out there. So when I was working from home today, I put episode 7 on in the background just to I've seen it before, so I didn't have to pay full attention. But it was the first time I got to watch it since it was in theaters, and it's solid, man. I liked it. He did a pretty decent job. I don't think it's anything different than the original storyline wise. It was pretty much like following the same path at least. But it's cool. I have a good feeling the next one's going to be some good storyline, good character development, and good action, of course.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to see how those forced visions that Rey has play out.
Yeah, and did you know that during that scene at the very end, the whispering, the voice is actually Ewan McGregor doing Obi-Wan?
Oh, Qui-Gon Jinn?
No.
Obi-Wan. Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah, nice. So there's talk that he may come in to play possibly as like a like the ghost or whatever.
Right.
I actually heard that Han Solo has some part in the next one too somehow.
Huh.
Which, no, I don't want to. If you haven't seen it, spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it should be interesting. But it was fun. It was enjoyable to have it on in the background. It really wanted me to go back and watch a lot of the old like Clone Wars cartoons. You ever watch those?
I watched some of them. Now, are you talking about the first run with the where it was cell animation, or the second run where it was on a computer animated?
All of them, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
there was like a movie, like an hour and something long movie that they put out before the series came out. So they went from animated. Oh, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Because there was like either I forget if it was one season or two of it was cell animation style rather than the computer generated imagery, and then they switched over. There was this break in between.
Yep.
And then they switched over.
Yeah, I was talking more of the computer generated one. It's that's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good to hear.
The cinnamon is not overpronounced at all. If anything, it's very coffee forward.
That's good. Yeah, Dan at the store said he's just not a fan of cinnamon, so it could be just him not being a fan of that particular spice.
I recommend testing the one you have out before they disappear, in case $14 seems like a value, which it might.
It did not sound like it was going to go fast, so
good.
He had 3 boxes on display, plus a few of the 4-packs out, on top. And then I was like, "Is that all you got?" And he's like, "No, I have a shit ton in the back." He's like, "You'll be fine if you want to get some next week or whatever."
Damn, I'm on it.
Yeah. So have you seen this yet? This is my new trusty little.
No, I have not. Very nice.
I got this for Christmas, and I use it when I'm in the kitchen, but I usually grab a different one when I do the show because it's a little smaller. But I said, "Hey, I'm taking this one with me." What does it say on the back? Wood from the hood. But yeah, it's magnetized, so it's got a nail or a screw on here, pops it off, and sticks to it. It's pretty sweet.
That's cool. I actually have a bone to pick with Greenbush about the. This is actually the one I got at Sketchbook over the weekend as part of our tour. We were doing the excursion this Saturday, but this is a snifter that I got from Greenbush. The logo is worn off. Now, I put it in the dishwasher, but it didn't say anything about not being dishwasher safe, so I'm kind of bummed. So, where'd it go?
Actually, I think it's supposed to be known that, I mean, I do it anyways, but you're not supposed to run pint glasses through the dishwasher. Yeah, you're supposed to hand wash them. Matter of fact, I've heard a lot of it gets really nerdy. I've seen videos where people are like, you're supposed to only use certain types of, you're not supposed to use like dish soap. You're supposed to use like almost like sanitizer soap or something like that. Otherwise, there's like some sort of enzyme in dish soap that kind of brings your carbonation down to your.
Yeah, it's a head retention. Yeah, the head retention gets dinged by a chemical in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like those people who are like, I need to have a CO2 spurt in my coffee bag every time I take coffee out of it so the beans don't oxidize. I mean, there are limits. There are limits.
I like coffee too, but I've not even heard that much. So
some people are nuts.
So say that again though. There's a CO2. You can
spritz some CO2, spray of CO2 to create an oxygen barrier in pretty much anything. Right. You know, I'm not sure if people actually do it, but I could see some knucklehead going, "I'm going to make a gas barrier, man." You know, like whatever.
That's funny. This is actually really malty. It's good, but it almost feels like a Dunkelweiss.
It looks like one.
Yeah, I mean, it's really dark in here. I'm interested to see how the Hefeweizen looks.
Actually, real quick, is that one got pretty even on the banana and cloves, or is it more one or the other?
I get very little banana. It's more clove.
That sounds like the Dunkelweizen to me.
It's spiced well, though. I like it. It's delicious. And what's nice is, I mean, I think this was like $3.99 for this bottle,
Yeah.
The other one might have been $4.99. So between the two, I was like, hey, I got that. I got the single bottle of the beer you're drinking and a 6-pack of Huma, and it was a successful little trip.
Yeah, that's not
You
a
know
bad
what's
way to go.
you know what's really good? I haven't had it for the first time until this week. The Citra, I think it's a Citra IPA from Surly. It's like a bright yellow can.
Like extra Citra?
Yeah,
I have had that. Yeah,
dude.
that's an American pale. It's not an IPA. It's just a
No.
straight up pale ale. But
Hmm.
it's pretty tasty. Yeah, I mean that's got some serious biscuit going on in that
Yeah,
malt.
it's super clean though. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was having it with Ronnie and I were having, I think like some cheese and crackers with it, and it was just like cutting the cheese. But it cuts the cheese in your mouth like perfectly. It like was the best compliment beer to. It was like a smoked Gouda we had. It was awesome.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah, it was really pleasant. So I like that beer. That's the one I can probably think of that I just had this week. We had the Azaka IPA from Founders. I liked.
That's good. Yeah, Zonka's a weird hop to work with too, because this guy has a spiciness to it. I actually just put it as hop in the IPA or the pale ale that I brewed about a month ago. And at first I was like, what is that thing going on in the back of the throat there? I was like, that's a Zaka.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. I dig that beer. I think I just saw, was it a review or I think I saw Chris from the show. Chris wrote something on a different beer and mentioned that he didn't care for the Azaka because it was similar to that, or I think it was another Founders beer that he didn't care for.
Okay.
I like it. I dig it. So talk about the fest, or not the fest, but the bus ride that you took to Evanston, Illinois. There was a couple breweries you hit and a distillery in the middle there.
Yeah, kind of. It was actually a train trip. Evanston is right along the Metro line, which runs up and down the lake. And unfortunately, nobody in the club is near to it. But three of us decided, to actually take the train. The rest ended up driving. But the three of us that were going to get onto the train anyway got on and went down to Main Street Station. And right at the Main Street Station, within a block of each other, like you go about a half a block south and you get to, well, this place, Sketchbook Brewing. And Sketchbook was a brewery that opened up in 2014 in a collaboration between a couple of people from the Evanston Homebrew Club. The guy who toured it for us is actually an audio guy. He's pretty cool. He works at the Art Institute of Chicago basically as his day job as a professor. He's a teacher in their audio department because he does experimental audio and and stuff like that. So a lot of that kind of translates into this general DIY sort of mentality to the place. So they have just DIY'd the snot out of everything in their brewery. About 75% of the stuff that comes through gets modified somehow, I would say. And there are only like 2 or 3 things where they literally could not do it themselves. Like the concrete saw on the floor, they had to get someone to do that for the drains. But it was really interesting to see a brewery like that because we've never really been. You
How
get
big
a
is
lot
it?
of. I mean, it's pretty big. They started off as just a production brewery, and they opened up a tap room now. But what's interesting is that they're in 2 separate buildings technically. So you have to actually go out the back door. There's a little alley, and then you kind of tool down this alley until you get to the back door of the brewery part of it, and then you go into there. So it's really kind of this mazy sort of labyrinth setup because it's all been jury rigged together. But the tap room is small but very nice. The beers are really good. It's just they had an excellent selection too. Not a whole lot of IPAs and pales. I think they had 1 of each, but the rest of it was a lot of things like dry stout. They had a black saison, which was really interesting and really good. It was a biggie too. It was like 10%.
A black saison.
Yeah.
I think I maybe have had 1 or 2 of those in my entire life.
Yeah, exactly. Not a whole lot going on in terms of people doing it, but I mean, there's not much to it. It's just put some color grains into your grain bill and use saison yeast. So yeah, and that married up well in this case. Was good stuff. So that was a fun stop. And then you get out of there and you go back the way you came and a half block past the train station north of that, and is Few Spirits. And Few, I think, was really sort of the first craft alcohol producer in Evanston. So even though they weren't a brewery, in a lot of ways, they kind of trailblazed the legal end of things that allowed, paved the way to other people to come into the market, in the form of Sketchbook and Temperance and others. So that was more of a commercial tour, sort of like, this is the this is the distillery, this is the still where the big stuff goes in. And then we go through a second distillation.
How big of a place is that?
That wasn't that big.
I've never been to a distillery, and I don't know if it's just mostly, barrels where they're just aging the stuff, or because I would assume that the equipment is just one spot, and then they don't require as large tanks as you would have at a brewery, I would assume, right?
Well, yeah, no. I mean, because you still need to ferment stuff. I mean, you need to put things through fermentation and then dump them into the still so you can distill the alcohol out of, the stuff that you produce. So you have to devote a certain amount of space to the fermenters. But most of the space was really taken up by, if anything, I guess that the thing that I remember most was that they had these big plastic containers of, what looked like just pure alcohol. And I was like, well, what's that? And they're going, well, we actually contract distill the vodka base for the Let Us Entertain You restaurants. So this is their sort of, in-house labeled vodka, which was interesting. And they did have a bunch of barrels in there, but actually they have a separate place where they rack the barrels into bottles and bottle everything and have the majority of their barrel aging for their ryes and their bourbon and for some of their gins. So,
I mean, I have very limited knowledge when it comes to spirits. I'm only, purely a beer guy mostly, but I've seen because of the marriage with a lot of breweries now these days. My understanding is like all alcohol, whether it's whiskey or vodka or whatever it is, it all comes out clear at first. Right. And then the coloring of the whiskey and the bourbons and everything that comes from the barrels, right? Or is there anything else that's contributing to that?
No, I think that's pretty much you got it head on. It's getting all the character from the wood and whatever char they're using and the length of aging. To a certain extent, it depends on the size of the barrel too. For example, Few is kind of unusual in that they have 15-gallon barrels rather than the standard like 50, 55-gallon barrels. Big part of that is because the ratio of booze to surface contact with wood is different depending on the size. So using 15-gallon barrels, they actually don't have to age things as long to essentially build the same character that you would get from a longer aging process in a 50-gallon barrel. So that's kind of one of the differences. But yeah, you're absolutely right in that it's all starts out clear.
And it's kind of cool that there are a lot more distilleries popping up and a lot of like craft distilleries, because there's such a partnership going on with breweries now, barrel aging everything. Everyone's doing a barrel aging program now these days. You're eventually going to run out of barrels if we didn't have more distilleries popping up. So, it's kind of a good thing. So did they say anything about that, or do they mention anything to do with the brewing industry at all?
Not so much. I mean, our club investigated the possibility of buying second use barrels from them. And that it seems like it's possible to do. The price is, it's pretty substantial. They will give you a break if you buy in bulk, which was good to know. So I think it's feasible. But the interesting thing about barrel aging, and at least on the homebrew side of things, is that you don't really need to do it to get the bourbon character into your beers. There's a guy who does a blog out in DC, the Mad Fermentationist, and he actually did a talk with our club, and he said that the entire reason why barrel aging exists is predominantly because this beer producers cannot legally put booze into their beer. You cross some sort of legal line once you do that. So the only way to get the characteristics of that particular spirit into your beer is to barrel age. Homebrewers don't have that limitation, so you can very easily go out and kind of pick a bourbon that will match the flavor of your beer. And it doesn't even have to be great bourbon. It just has to be something or sort of like, I want the most coconutty, vanilla, caramely, bourbon you got. And it may be relatively cheap, but you put a cup into your, imperial stout and it's magic.
That's interesting. Yeah. I never thought about the legal ramifications of why it's never done rather than, on a production or a commercial brewery. But if you're a home brewer, you can do whatever you want. So that's interesting. Have you done that before?
I have not, but as soon as he mentioned it, I already started plotting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. So yeah, and that was Fused Spirit. So that was probably the least. It was the most polished presentation. A lot of the rest of everything that we did was much less polished and much more sort of us peppering people with questions. So the next two stops, Temperance by far, I think, probably had the best beer.
I still want to go there.
You got to go there. They've got great beer. It's a very nice ambiance. And Josh was the owner who was talking to us because unfortunately Claudia, who was the brewer there, she does great work, and she was actually a Goose alum.
I know, she's awesome. Yeah. I've seen her on many videos. She's been on like Hopcast and stuff like that. So I was hoping you got to meet with her. That would have been nice. Yeah,
but it was actually kind of good that we got Josh because
this looks more like half.
That does. That's the hoppy one, the hoppy hef.
Yeah, it smells like an IPA to me.
That should be interesting because I wonder what kind of hops.
It's not that hoppy, but it definitely smells hoppy.
Do they say what kind of hops they're pumping in there?
Doubt it, but
my guess would be they're noble hops like Saz and Hallertau or whatever, but
it's still and that's another reason why you'll not find a lot of German breweries who do the Hefeweizens. Typically, you're not going to see outside of the United States probably with anything other than the natural ingredients of the Reinheitsgebot.
Yeah.
Oh, I just dumped a lot of yeast in there. Oh, that just got. Look how darker that got. Oh, maybe.
Oh man, yeah, I can see a little bit. Yeah,
but I could see it floating around in there. But yeah, this is actually brewed according to the Reinheitsgebot. Let's see if it says the hops in here. Whoa, okay, so this is interesting. Schneider and Brooklyner. This is this looks like a collaboration between the Schneider Weiss Brewery and Brooklyn Brewing because it says Garrett Oliver of the Brooklyn Brewery.
Nice.
Garrett and Hans Peter have long admired each other's beers. Now together they bring you a new sensation. A pale Weissbach, robustly dry hopped with the Hallertau Sapphire variety, grown in the fields near the Schneider Brewery. Hoppy, zesty, and supremely refreshing, Schneider and Brooklyn Hopfenweiss is a delicious blend of Bavarian craftsmanship and American ingenuity.
Nice.
Interesting.
That does sound interesting.
I did not even gather that this was a collab between an American brewery and Schneider Weiss. So, cheers. I'm going to check this one out.
Cheers to that.
Damn, that's really good.
You look surprised.
I am. This is really hoppy. I don't know if I get any sort of Hefeweizen backbone or anything like that, but and maybe it's because I've just downed the original Hefeweizen, but this is a delicious beer. I mean, I'm almost. I say I'm surprised, and you say I'm surprised because I have that reaction because I paid like $4 for this.
I'm telling you. I mean, they're really. I think we should probably put foreign beers on the wheel more because seriously, they get so overlooked. I think with the craft brewing, boom that's been going on, and there's some amazing beers coming out of Europe.
Well, there's a reason behind that is because they're mirroring a lot of American styles now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, but I mean, like the original styles, are still just delicious.
Dude, I went back and I had a gift card from my birthday last week. So I went to Binny's with it burning a hole in my pocket, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy some things that maybe I normally wouldn't. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It's very carbonated, by the way.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy some stuff that I wouldn't typically dump money in, out of beer. I almost got a $30 bottle of Cascade, and I should. I almost say that I should have, but I got a lot of beer for what I had. So, I've had Cascade beers before. I've been to the brewery. I went to the tap room when I was in Portland back in like 6 years ago or something like that. So, I didn't go that expensive. So I went with a few like $17 to $20, beers here and there. I got an apricot. I think it's an apricot saison from Almanac.
That sounds familiar. Yeah,
dude, it's so good. It's so good.
I've got to get an Almanac beer. I mean, the only reason I have not pulled the trigger is I look at the format size and I look at the price tag, and I'm like, man, if you pull the trigger and you pick wrong, you just put a lot of money into a beer you don't like.
Yeah, I always ask my buddy Dan at the store which ones to go with because he always recommends. I always ask what he's had. Mm-hmm. We usually have pretty similar styles that we like and everything. So he recommended the apricot one, and I was like, I love this beer. It was delicious. Nice. So, I got that. I got everything I went through, but so I ended up with a bottle of Saison DuPont. I haven't had that in like probably a year or two. And I was like, I forgot how much I love Saison. It's like love that beer. Going back to that, that's the original. That is what every Saison should strive to be, and it's funny how you've got so many different versions of a Saison in America now, and nothing compares to that. There's very few. There's a lot of breweries that specialize in that particular style, and they do a great job of doing it. But others that, that they just kind of put out a Saison just to have a Saison, not the same, man. It's just not what it. That bottle, it lasted me for the night. I had it. I was like just savoring it the entire evening. It was awesome.
But that's one of the things that kills me, because you look at the number of American breweries, craft breweries that are opening up that are really trying to be, especially Belgian-centric, Belgian farmhouse ales. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of these places, don't get me wrong, they put out really good beers. But, people will go for those beers before they go to the original Belgian producers of these, farmhouse and Saison, farmhouse ales and Saisons. And it's just like, people, you gotta go try the original article. I mean, get a Ode Brun from Belgium, get a Flanders Red from Belgium first, then try something from the States.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the ones that do specialize, like Trillium, they do great farmhouse ales.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I'm not taking anything away from these people.
Yeah. But yeah, the do we even have Saisons on the wheel right now? Because I'd like to put that out.
It does sound good.
Because we threw a bunch of stuff at the end last week, and you must have seen. So, but I got that, and I bought the last bottle of the La Vermentoy, the collaboration between Hill Farmstead and La Bougie's or whatever. Mike actually drank it last night or last week. He had finally bought. He's like, I forgot. I keep forgetting you watched the episode. So I was interested that he had found a bottle of it out there. He's like, Vermont's closer to me. I would hope to find it. So,
Oh yeah.
so it was cool. But I have probably 4 bottles left. I'm going to try to spread out through this summer and enjoy those because I just love that beer. And I was asking Dan, I go, do you got any more of that? And he goes, no, it's gone. They're not making it again. I don't think. He's like, that was a one-time thing. He's like, if I get another case, I'll let you know. But as of right now, he's like, I don't have any plans on getting any more. So
Yeah.
and I've got 1 bottle in a box behind me. I feel bad. I've had this box packed for Skylar for for probably a month now, and I just don't have any packing peanuts or anything, and I haven't had the time to go out and get some. So maybe on my lunch break tomorrow, I'll make the trip and do that finally. But I need to send that out to him because he needs to try that beer.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Skylar in a while, so I missed that dude. He should jump on here whenever he gets a chance.
If you're listening, Skylar, anytime.
He's not. Right now we have no viewers.
Well, if you're listening later.
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be good to have him back. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I'm trying to update the wheel to see what we have on there, but it is not working right now.
Huh.
Bam. Let's go. And my iPad just like, oh, there we go. It's starting to move a little faster. Have you seen? No, we do have Saison on there. There's only like 6 things on the wheel right now, but Saison's one of them.
Oh man, we gotta add to that.
Have you seen the announcement that Greg Cook made from Stone?
You mean the one where he's stepping down and they're looking for someone, or is there a more recent one?
A while back. This was like last weekend. Here, I'll read the story because I don't want to paraphrase because I didn't get to watch the full video that they posted on Stone's YouTube page, and I didn't get to fully read the article, so I'll kind of read along here. It says, this weekend, Stone Brewing's co-founder Greg Cook made an announcement that he's heading up an organization called True Craft as an alternative means to craft breweries to seek funding without selling to macro beverage corporations or private equity. This seems like a response to the realities many craft breweries are facing. Signs point to brewers hitting a wall in terms of how they can get to the next level to compete in the very competitive market space with loans, personal mortgages, and the next generation's college funds all in the play. The quickest and easiest way out of the financial hole has been getting a fat check from AB InBev or an opportunistic private equity firm.
Right.
It's still too soon to tell how the True Craft model will work out. I am willing to bet that some of the current portfolio mates from Stone Distribution will be early adopters. Think of Avery Brewing and Maui Brewing right out of the gate, as they have been very close allies with Stone over the years. Here's the video, blah, blah, blah.
Side note, hopefully I'll be going to Maui Brewing next year.
Oh, no kidding.
That would be nice. Yeah, there's a trip on the horizon, possibly.
How are you working that
out? It's an anniversary trip for for Terry's parents. And they have a history of having a big family gathering when this happens. So I think Hawaii was the determining place.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not a bad place to go regardless.
I was going to say, I've never been, so.
Yeah, I missed the opportunity to go the year that I was getting married. My friend Sean got married there, and we were supposed to go to as a destination wedding, but between that and saving for our own wedding, I was like, that $4,000 to spend on that trip would really go far on our own wedding. So we kind of unfortunately make that decision. I was a little sad about it, but yeah, he said it was great. It looks beautiful there. But Maui Brewing would be awesome, man. That's cool. Mm-hmm. So anyways, going back to this Stone story.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar, or it sounds similar to, well, I guess it's not. This is more for existing breweries maybe to try to get, funding for expansion and stuff like that. Because, I mean, that's really the reason most of these breweries are taking, a deal with these other, AB InBev or any of these other companies that are taking part of their shares of their company.
Right.
It's different though. I know, and I've read about this a couple of years ago, and I know I just recently have been listening. I'm still, I think, maybe halfway through the episode of Good Beer Hunting, but he's interviewing Jim Cook of Boston Beer Company.
Oh, okay.
And first of all, it's a great interview. It's awesome to listen to his perspective of things, being one of the pioneers of the craft beer movement. It's really good interview. I would highly recommend checking it out. But it's I know that Boston Beer Company has a foundation of some sort that will fund startups for small breweries, or even like small businesses for like certain crafts, and maybe like craft, maybe like a restaurant or something like that. I can't remember what the guidelines were,
Right.
but they have a foundation where they support, or not support, but they'll take out they'll give out loans for that type of a need. So it
Right.
sounds a little similar, but it's a little, in a different way, because I mean, Stone is always, Greg's always been very open about how he despises the sellouts and everything like that. And I understand his point of view, but it's that's just the world we're in now at this point. And I get why any brewery would do it. If you're
Yeah.
in a spot, I mean, uh, just take what Shorts had to do recently. A lot of people, I don't think they got too much flack for it. Maybe within state they might have gotten, but out of state and everything I've seen online, they didn't get too much heat for finally stepping outside of the state of Michigan.
Right.
But that's always been their mantra for the time being, up until recently. So they explained it so well on their podcast, and also the Craft Beer Temple. Have you ever seen their YouTube channel? He's got
Yeah.
Chris Quinn posted an interview with Joe Short at his store, probably like a month or so ago. It was like just as they were entering the market. And, it was like, we had been growing at a certain rate. We've invested a lot of money in new equipment. We continue to pay our employees very well for the jobs they do, and we needed to keep doing that. They just invested, in the last 2 years, I think they put in a wastewater treatment plant for their brewery, which uses a lot of the city's water. And to help with the city of Bel Air, or Elk Rapids actually would probably be in, if I'm thinking correctly.
Oh, right. For the new brewery, you mean?
Because that's their production brewery.
Right.
Bel Air is just the pub, and that was the original location, but they have their production brewery in Elk Rapids.
Right.
And they put a wastewater treatment plant in there to help support the city, so that the city's water treatment doesn't have to take on such a huge role. And so all that equipment costs money,
Right.
and the fact that there's so many new breweries in the state of Michigan, they just don't have the ability to grow the way that they've been all this time, because there hasn't been as much, saturation in the market in their local state. So I totally get why they would step out. I'm obviously, I'm excited about it, but if I was like in Michigan thinking, I can't believe they're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Based on that explanation, I would totally understand and see why they would do that.
Right.
Rather than selling out to another company so that they can continue to grow the way they are. It was a smart move in order to, keep their company growing the way that they did.
But I think that's kind of the larger point, though, when you think about it, is that if you look outside of major, equity concerns and mega breweries, how many other contenders do you have for sort of market consolidation forces? And I think what Greg Cook is kind of pointing out to and actually finding that the niche for is this other player that can level the playing field for or at least bring another player to another option to that playing field, which I think is a great thing. Because and I agree with you too. Is that this is the environment we're in, and it's going to be for a while. I think you're going to see it, especially in the number of breweries opening up. I think that number is going to start plateauing really soon if it hasn't already, because it's going to be outpaced by the number of places that are either closing or getting folded into other concerns. Because it's just kind of got to. The pace is way high otherwise. But those forces are there. And so it's nice, I guess, to have a Greg Cook coming in and offering an alternative model that might be more palatable or, just, whatever.
I agree with some of that. I think we'll definitely see a slowdown in the amount of new breweries that pop up. But I also think there's still going to be new breweries coming because not everybody wants to grow and be as big as Stone or be in every state. There's plenty of amazing breweries that are doing great, supplying beer to their local market.
Right.
And they don't have any desire to get any bigger, and they don't have any desire to be a huge, company. They just want to be able to support their families and, send their kids to college and love, making beers. So you're going to see those still coming, The thing is, when you have, we live in the Chicago area, and within a city this big, you're going to see so many breweries, and they're all, it may feel a lot more saturated than other areas of the country. So, it might slow down much greater in big cities like ours. And, California's packed with breweries as well. And then the larger markets in even Michigan or any other state, it's, you might see the slowdown there, but
yeah,
I think what Greg Cook's doing is it's a smart move too, because it's another. I mean, they're not going to invest money in companies that aren't going to return on their investments. So they're going to make money on this, and they're large enough of a company to be able to not hand out, but like supply some of these loans that some of these breweries need in order to grow as big as they're planning to do.
Right.
What's up, Kevin?
Hey, how you doing? Sorry to interrupt.
Hey, Kevin. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And then I was on last week and you weren't around.
No, I've been doing stuff. So.
Ah, wow. What a
I know, right?
So what you got there, Kev?
I have something that I would not have otherwise gotten.
It's the whole point of the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. It's from Forbidden Root, which I believe is in the area here, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we're in is Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. Forbidden Root, Sublime Ginger, Key West style, wheat ale brewed with ginger, honey bush, lemon, myrtle, black pepper with key lime juice.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
You could have saved that for a lot of
that qualifies as off center.
That's what I figured. It was either this or a straight up Hefeweizen.
Which I did.
Yeah, is that what you ended up with?
Well, I did two. I did an original Hefeweizen from the Schneider Weiss here.
Okay.
And then they also did a collaborative with Brooklyn Brewing and did a Hoppenweiss, which is a hopped up Hefeweizen with Brooklyn Brewing.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Garrett Oliver, so.
This is also, by the way, I noticed 3.8% alcohol, so I'm not going to...
Ooh, nice. Yeah. No, I didn't even try.
Slowly.
I went with a stout, so I gave up.
I have it served in the hams born in the land of sky blue water.
Yeah.
Hams, beer refreshing.
I was telling Dan, All my proper glassware is like all packed away in storage until we've moved into a house. So
Yeah, that's.
so I've got
I don't
my
know if I'd go proper glassware on the hams.
I've got my Cheers mug.
Very refreshing. Lemon and ginger. Or lime, excuse me.
Was that in a single bottle or?
Yep, it came in a 4-pack actually.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. You don't normally see it's 4-pack and priced like a 4-pack of, I don't know what it was, probably $10, $9.99 or something. So more than I usually would have gone for a kind of a flavored wheat beer, but it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Very refreshing. I can see why somebody would like this in the summertime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited for this time of year because it's probably my favorite American version of a Hefeweizen is Peace.
The top heavy?
Oh, God,
That's a good beer.
so much. It's so good.
Good beer.
Yeah, we should. Do we have any doctor's appointments coming up soon, Kevin?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, we were due, and yes, I have the appointment, but it's at 9 in the morning. It's all I had. We were going on vacation in June, so I had limited time to pick. So,
right.
and you and I already have 2 things on the calendar right after that. So,
Yep.
we'll have to have a separate peace trip.
All right, sounds good. I also have a doctor's appointment coming up soon. I haven't made the appointment, so we must have our annual around the same time because I think last year we were about a couple of weeks away.
Well, I know it was June 2nd last year because it was the day after the accident with the Acadia.
Oh, that's right.
So that was the start of me walking to work for 6 weeks.
That's right. They moved offices too, right?
I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, considering that I live in Naperville and you live in Arlington Heights, they didn't move very far.
Yeah, and I think it's close enough to where a trip to the city is a trip to Peace.
Exactly.
So cool, man. What did you go anywhere? I can't remember. Were you at a festival not too long ago, or?
No, that was last week when I talked about the Gumeen at Buckle Down.
Oh, that's right.
Past weekend was nothing more than finally partaking in the Shorts beer that is now in market here.
Oh, nice. What'd you have?
I just had the Humalupalicious, which I like so much.
I have a 6-pack of it in the fridge right now.
Yeah.
I have one after the show.
Nice.
The Controversy L is also available here, which I highly recommend.
Yeah, there's a handful. That one I've never had. I've had all the other ones that are available here.
Space Rock too?
Yeah, I had that when we were in Michigan last summer for vacation.
I like that one. We were just talking about Stone. They have a new program, I guess you would call it. It's It's called True Craft. Oh, it's an organization that the co-founder Greg Cook is heading up, where they're giving like an alternative means for craft brewers to seek for funding for expansion and growth, rather than selling out to like AB InBev or something like that. So we thought it was a nice or an interesting alternative for current breweries to do that kind of an alternative plan. We kind of covered it all, so I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or.
No, but that sounds interesting, and I'll have to come back around and watch the first half hour of the show here. Yeah,
we were just talking about a couple other programs that are similar to it, but because Jim Cook is it Jim Cook from Boston Beer Company? Do they both have the same last name?
Yeah, definitely spelled differently, but.
Yeah, so they have a program for startups, for breweries and things like that. So it's a little different, but yeah, I think this came out of Stone's hatred for breweries who sell out to the man. So, anything else that you guys saw in the news recently? I don't know if there was any big beer news recently. I did see Atlas. In Chicago, Atlas Brewing, they had to change their name. There was a law dispute.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're like, it's going to be like Burning City or something like that. Let me see if I can do a quick Google search of that.
Yeah, so I was just bringing that up now. Interesting.
So wait, that's like the
Burnt
second
City.
Chicago.
Is it
What?
Burnt City?
Burnt City Brewing blossoms from the ashes of Atlas Brewery.
There you go.
That's just the first headline that came up. Yeah,
Which
really.
is interesting because, from my understanding, Atlas Brewing was like a really, really, really old brewery that used to exist here in Chicago
Yeah,
at
that's what I
some
got
point in
from being
time.
there. I remember.
And because they have like a bunch of old like memorabilia and signage and posters and all kinds of stuff from the original, and so obviously that place no longer exists, so they took the name and they somehow lost the naming rights to it from an out-of-state brewery.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're completely revamping everything. Not only are they changing the name of the brewery, but their beers are going to be completely different from what I understand.
Oh, really? It's not just the name. They're rebranding the whole thing.
I think so. I think that's the route that they're going to take. And I mean, I've had a few of their beers. They're decent. They're not anything spectacular, and I think their cans are pretty blah.
Yeah.
If that's the way to put it. They look similar to I think it's Brickstone. They almost
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking here, and that's I can see what you mean by that.
So it might be a good thing for them to kind of switch it up. The location's pretty nice.
I was there a couple times, and the beer there was. I remember I had a couple good beers there that were like just brewed.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that what's going in the cans? Because that's what I'd be concerned about. I mean, if they've been doing pretty good work.
I think they can an IPA, an APA. I can't honestly remember. I haven't really gotten any of their cans that I've only had their beers at.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at them here. I see the Diversity Pale Ale, the Rookery Rye IPA, and the Farmhouse Wheat Ale. And I've seen these before.
Okay, so yeah, they're not really distinguishing themselves there yet.
No, I think it's a good opportunity for them then to kind of switch it up, because if you're already an established brewery and you have no reason to switch things up, it looks really bad. But if you have an opportunity to say, hey, we have no choice, we're changing our name and we can kind of make things different, I think it's a good opportunity for a brewery to do that. That's just my opinion, because I know a lot of, there's a lot of beer hate out there, beer hatred. There's oh my God, I meant to bring this up, and we're kind of coming towards the end of the show, so I want to. I know it's kind of a weird jump, but so today we had. I'm working from home today, and our business office that takes care of all the buildings in this condo complex, they sent somebody to fix our heat. It's finally the end of winter, and we're now hitting 70 degrees on Friday, so they decided to finally fix our heat. And so the guy says, he noticed my hoodie with the Founders Brewery on it, and he was like, have you ever been to Founders? And I was like, yeah, quite a few times, and talked about beer for a while. He's a huge beer guy. He just stood in line at I think he said he got there at 1 in the morning to get tickets in Madison, Wisconsin for the Great Taste of the Midwest. Apparently you can only buy those tickets in person, which I didn't realize.
Not exactly.
Yeah, homebrewer guy.
But go on.
Typically, and for people who don't have an in, that's the case. So he said there was 90 people ahead of him when he got there that early.
It's a thing.
Yeah, apparently it's a good fest. And so we were talking for a while, and we became best friends over beers or a discussion of beers, I should say. He was working, and so was I. And so he was talking about Dark Lord Day, which just happened this past weekend. And I didn't go. I know neither of you guys did. Apparently, it got real douchey
Oh, yeah?
If you put your allotment of Dark Lord down for a half a second to go, I don't know, pee or get food or whatever, people just snatch it up and walk away with it. There was a story.
Whoa.
He told me a story of a dude who went to his car to take a nap.
That's always a good plan.
And left his car unlocked, and somebody went
Better plan.
opened his car while he was sleeping inside it and stole his Dark Lord out of his car.
God. What the fuck?
Oh, I was like, that's why. I mean, that fest has always been so much fun, and I love it so much. But when you got people who are just going there to take that beer and flip it online, you're not getting the greatest of folks there. But but yeah, I was blown away to hear that stuff. I was like, are you kidding me? I can't believe it. But I'll tell this one story of a coworker of mine who went to the fest.
Oh, is this
he will be unnamed.
Okay.
I will
Never mind.
speak over you, and nobody heard that.
I didn't hear.
So he had to get. He lives up north by you, Dan, and he went there with a group of buddies that live in the city, and they went there, and he stayed till about 4 o'clock, which is usually past when we usually do. I think we leave about 2, 3 o'clock.
Oh wait, no, when did they get there? Yeah, just for reference.
Well, noon. We usually got there like nice and early.
I was gonna say like 10, 9:30, something like that, right?
Sometimes 7, 8, 9.
That was just once you get there 7.
No, I don't think so. Brad and I used to almost always get there around that time.
I was remembering.
Until they start, we would always get there that early until they started doing the groupings.
Oh,
the
that's
A,
right.
B,
That's
C,
right.
D tickets. So that was only a couple years ago. But he was there, and he had never been there, so I'm sure he just went all out and just drank everything that anyone would hand out to him. And he had to get, so he was going to get a ride back to the city so he could, I think they did a bus or something like that. So they got a bus back to the city. They ended up going to Half Acre for some reason after all that.
Oh God.
Then he went to the Wild Goose like 2 doors down
Oh God.
from Half Acre. Left his credit card. I left his tab open so the card was still there for like a couple days, and got in an Uber to take to the train station. Fell asleep in the Uber, so the driver kicked him out, like nowhere near the train station, so he had no idea where he was or how to get to the train.
Oh my God.
And eventually his friends that live in the city had to like go pick him up again and then drive him all the way home.
God.
Back to the city.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was quite a story. I loved it.
Or Joe.
What's that?
Or Joe.
Exactly, whoever that is.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I know, I was cracking up. He told me the story. I was like, it's probably been about 5 or 6 years since I've been in that state, you know?
No, I was going to say, if there's any fest that is going to do that to you, though, Dark Lord is up there as a possible contender. I mean, like you were saying, there is just so much on the bottle share alone floating around.
That's what I said. He goes, nobody brought anything but like stouts. He's like, it was all barrel aged stouts and aged shit that people have been hanging on to, waiting to share. And he's like, everything was just high alcohol.
Yep.
So it was kind of funny to hear him because that was his first Dark Lord day. So I was kind of like, oh, you poor little youngster. That's so cute.
God, that's brutal though.
It's fun. It was a funny story. I was like, oh, like every time he kept telling me the next step, I was like, oh my God, really? I was like, oh Jesus Christ. It was really funny. So I feel bad, Kevin. I know you just got here not too long ago, but we're hitting 9 o'clock, and we need some more things on this wheel. We've got 5 things now. After.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that's right. Last week we were a little. What do we have again?
So we've got triple Goza, a Pilsner, a Saison, and a Maibach.
Oh, I already have an automatic for that one. Kolsch. That is a great summer beer.
That's true. I used to not like those, now I do.
I know, same here. I'm going to say, I'm going to go with the lager as well. I'm going to say Schwartz beer.
Mm. Well done, sir. Kevin?
I have a Belgian strong ale.
Oh, God. Very summary.
I wasn't going for summary with that one.
I know.
50 degrees out.
That's cool. Now, do we have any lingering categories that
No, we lost
wild
every-
card?
We had to rebuild last week from scratch. That's why there's only 5.
So it's like the Steve Austin of beer wheels, the $6 million man.
Yeah, we had to rebuild it.
I liked this week was off-centered. We're making an off-centered IPA because we never put IPA in there because it's so ubiquitous.
That's so easy.
Yeah, well, and that's the nice thing about it is that you won't have any trouble finding that.
No, find something crazy that doesn't and the only reason I say that again is I don't ever buy that shit and I probably wouldn't, but if we have it on the wheel, I might find something that's decent or good.
All right.
I'm going to also throw one on here that I've been kind of seeing more of lately, and I think it's an interesting one that I've been seeing. Coffee beer, but no stouts.
Oh yeah, there's been more of that.
Any other style. There's some really good ones out there. I guess Dark Matter's done a collab with Revolution called Revved Up, and the same beer was done with Dark Matter and Upland Brewing. So I've had both. There were different styles, but both with Dark Matter coffee. They got the bean flicker from Offside. Is it Offside?
Yeah, that's new.
Outside ales.
Outside.
That's a good one. That's like a wheat
Bean
beer,
flicker?
actually. Yeah, bean flicker.
Yeah.
It's a dirty name, but it's a good beer.
It is what it is.
All right, so.
Oh, I have one more.
Oh,
Brett.
Lord.
A beer with Brett. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be a style or a yeast we go too much, really.
What's nice is that apricot beer that I was talking about from Almanac, that was also a Brett beer. It was fucking awesome. It was a barrel-aged Brettanomyces apricot. I can't remember if it was a Saison. I think it was a Saison. Maybe it was just like an apricot sour, actually.
Okay.
All right, so we got Brett coffee with no stouts, an off-centered IPA, a Belgian strong ale, a Schwartz beer, a Kolsch, Maibach, Saison, Pilsner, Goza, and Triple.
All right.
Spin it, maestro.
Sounds like a solid list.
Yeah.
All right, so let me flip this around and not drop it. And it is spinning, spinning, spinning. Skylar was here. He would have the drum roll going.
Goza.
All right.
That was not what I thought was going to land.
No.
But still, that'll be good. Goes as it is.
All right.
You guys got anything going on this weekend, beer-wise, or anything coming up?
Oh, I do. Actually, I'm going to be brewing at Perfect Brewing this weekend for Big Brew. That's an AHA sponsored day, the day before Mother's Day. I'll actually be working at Perfect Brewing on Sunday, Mother's Day, for a little bit. So that it's the new guy shift. But yeah, Big Brew is a thing. So if you're out there and you are a home brewer, there's probably a Big Brew event near you. Go to the AHA webpage and check it out.
Because this Saturday's homebrew day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Kevin, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we've got Beer Under Glass, so that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, that's 2 weeks. Cool.
Now it came up quick.
Yeah.
In 2 days, or no, I'm sorry, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I'll be finally checking out the Emporium that they opened up in Lincolnshire.
Oh, cool.
Oh, let me know about that, because that's just down the road.
Yeah, my brother's bachelor party.
Oh, is he gonna be there?
Okay, I can't really crash that.
Yeah. So it starts out. My brother's pretty much planned this whole thing for himself.
Yeah.
So it involves seeing the new Captain America movie.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Um,
Civil War.
I don't even want to mention where we're going to lunch because it's like a chain restaurant. And then after that, he wants to go miniature golfing at Park King.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then after that, I suggested let's go to Emporium because it's video games and like pool and there's the hockey, like the bubble hockey and all that stuff. So I figured he'd get a kick out of that, and they've always got a good beer list there. So
I was going to say, if you got gas in the tanks after that, you're right by, what is it? It used to be Flatlanders. Now it's called Half Day Brewing, I want to say. And it's a brew pub.
I haven't been to Flatlanders in probably 10 years. I remember that.
It hasn't probably been around for about 9.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they died. Yeah. And then actually right across the street from there is the beer market.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, my brother's not much of a drinker. He announced to me. Hold on a second. He announced to me like 5 months ago. He goes, "Hey, I found a beer that I finally like." And I was like, I know what he's gonna say.
No, too.
I know what he's
I think
gonna
I
say.
remember this.
Not your father's root beer.
Oh no! God.
So
very wrong.
If anything, we probably won't be hitting many breweries or anything like that. So
right.
It's his day. I'll have a beer at Emporium probably, but I'm gonna be doing all the driving. So and he lives in Rockford or the Rockford area, so I'll be driving quite far up to pick him up and quite far back to drop him off. So it won't be much of a beer event on my end. So
are you gonna pick up anything at Pig Mines? I mean, just at the brewery?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we can get some.
There's something, man.
The bitch slap. Have you had that yet?
Oh yeah, long ago.
It's a solid beer, man.
Yeah, it is.
You don't have to go to Rockford to get it. So
it's in market. Yep.
Exactly. So, all right, cool, man. I will see you guys next week over some gozes. Thank you, Kevin and Dan, for joining us. Anyone who's watching this on YouTube after the fact, we do this every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. So you're welcome to join us. If you want to join my circles on Google+, we can send you the invite if you like. Just send me a message. We are on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, actually. So join us in any of those venues, and like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can get these updates every time we do these shows on Wednesday nights. So thank you guys for joining. We'll see you guys next week over some gozas, and cheers.
Cheers.